How plants are affected to the environment. With the purpose of presenting the main ideas of how can we protect the environment and the impact it could have on the future generations, I made this documentary to make aware of how our actions have consequences of plants and express different ideas that can arise from our research on plants development. I want to make a direct impact on the way people think about the importance of plants in our environment, changing people's minds from the global warming that has been a major problem nowadays and affects millions of species affecting their natural habitats. This documentary will be a continuation from a previous research that addressed the lack of interest from us for the protection of our flora and the ignorance of its importance. I'm going to present some projects based on the knowledge I already acquired, implementation of regulation and policies, impact on the future, and the factors that I may have. For my first proposal of a project is planting a garden on every educational institution as a school project where the students can get involved on how to take the proper care for a plant, make them responsible citizens conscious of how their actions can have positive results, and call their attention when they are still young. This will also help them to understand the science occurring inside the plant, like photosynthesis, and how animals interact in plants growing. How are plants affected when they are near a factory is my second project. Thanks to this project, we will be able to identify how much damage does a plant has if it is near these industries because of the emissions of CO2 from the industry itself or the cars passing by. The purpose of this project is to make sure the quality of the plant isn't compromised and therefore the species that feed on them can have a good source of energy that isn't polluted and analyze the effects plants have in an industrialized city like Monterrey. Benefits of plants in a community of the suburbs is my third project. Plants can represent many benefits for a community because it keeps the air clean, gives a space of recreation, provides shelter to different animals, embellishes the community, gives shadow in sunny days, and has beneficial effects on the quality of life. How can animals contribute to the growth of a plant? Animals represent an important part in the cycle of life of a plant, and making a project based on their relationship can be helpful to understand which species beneficiate the most to the plant so we can put them into their environment while it grows. For example, in the Yellowstone Park, they put a group of wolves that decrease the population of reindeers and let plants grow where them weren't growing anymore, along with other benefits. Make greenhouses in schools and industries. Building greenhouses can be helpful for the harvest of different kinds of plants because they are least affected by the pollution of the air, the pests, and the cold temperatures. Thanks to the greenhouse, people can cultivate food that can be served in the schools or donate to charity, and has the same educational benefit on schools, while the industry serves as community service. The research can be helpful in the implementation of new policies and regulations on benefit of plants from our environment. Investigation can create new policies or regulations about the emission of CO2 from the industries and cars on the sea. Monterrey has surpassed the emissions of this component that in Mexico City had, and affected not only the quality of the air and the contribute to the greenhouse effect, but also the conditions of the flora and fauna in the state of New Orleans. Along with this we can make people conscious of the importance of plants and the care that plants need because the climate change we have suffered on such a short time can have a less impact if we start to change our habits and appreciate the importance of plants. The application of eco-technology in the city or even the country can have a good consequence like for example the implementation of greenhouses for plants to avoid pollution from factories or new technology that help us to take a better care of the plant in our houses and parks. It is also important to create a policy for industries to make them responsible of the damage they make by planting trees or take care of them, or cleaning the waters they have polluted, as well as make responsible the people that throw trash in the streets or water dams. Education is a major point we should focus because by the implementation of a more profound education in the schools of the environment and care of plants, if we educate the young, we are going to be able to change the future of the children, making responsible citizens. The impact in the world. If people understood the impact can have on how a plant grows and develops, we could protect the environment from ending with our resources and the home of different species by improving the way we use them. The massive progress we have had has affected the environment, letting it besides thanks to the research, letting it, letting it besides. Thanks to the research, we can change people's minds and habits, making them think twice before doing something that could damage the flora. Society could have a whole new other aspect of technology focused on the protection of plants like eco-buildings or renewable ways of energy, instead of keeping using the fossil fuels that contaminate the environment and will come to an end. It, al- it also could have an impact of our culture having much more sorry more respect for what surrounds us. The people and animals because I'm sorry. It also could have an impact of our culture having more respect for what surrounds us, the people and animals, and we could because we will understand that our actions have consequences. The most important reason is that we could improve the quality of life considerably by implementing the knowledge acquired on research into the education as people will take more care into the environment for their future children and themselves. There are also detractors against my work and there are ways they could oppose. I'm going to present them. For example, different types of government that find using fossil fuels and cut down trees more economic than renewable energies. In India, for example, the poorer burn manure and kerosene that pollute the air and affect the plants, but they don't have money for other of energies, and the government of the United States, another example, are focused on the extraction of fossil fuels in the sea and make nuclear plants because it is easier or, or at least cheaper. Their arguments are that they need a way to make their own energy without depending of another country. Industries could be a detractor because they will oppose to spend extra money to invest in helping to the environment that they have affect with the emission of CO2 and toxic wastes. Industries can argument that the emission of CO2 don't produce necessarily the global warming according to some studies published in 2003 and 2010, which states that during the glaciation period there was times more CO2 in the atmosphere. Politics that spread the word about don't believing about global warming can be detractors too. Many people that voted for Donald Trump followed him and think he is right in many aspects. Because of this, he has been an example for many Americans, and his arguments about climate change, even though illogical, make an impact over the population. He has said that he doesn't believe in the scientific evidence of climate change and that China invented it to harm the United States. That's it for my documentary. Thank you.